Hi, my name is Violet Valentine. I'm making 2008 style video blogs, mainly talking about my movie, which I'm so excited to announce. We found a new post guy, and he is awesome. He has this huge professional studio, gives me bubbly water and granola bars. I sit on his fancy couch, and he just went through my movie and he said, "This is exactly technically what you need done. I know how to do it. It'll take this many days. It'll cost this much, and it'll be done on this day. Thank you." And I will be in email contact with you and answer your emails immediately, which he has too. It's been awesome. He's super pro. And he said end of November. And, for this whole time, I've been like, it's coming out soon. Hard finish date, end of November. If you're in LA and you want to come to my friends and family screening, late November. It's done. It's ready. This guy's so good. I'm so excited. And it frees me up. For the last 6 months especially, I've been like stuck in limbo where like, I don't want to start a new project because I like have a whole movie coming out, but it's just been like stuck not being finished. It's been dragging, and like emotionally, I'll admit it now that enough time has passed. It's like having a bad roommate. You can't admit you hate your bad roommate till the day they move out because you can't it'll just make it worse. If you just think about how much it sucks, it becomes intolerable. Living with bad roommates. And I've had a few in my day, and I've probably been one once or twice. LOL. But that day when they finally like move their stuff out and you can just go like, oh God, this whole time it sucked. I'm so glad. You can like process it. And I feel like I'm at much like that right now. I can be like, yes, I have been depressed about my movie. Yes, every day I'm just like, when's this stupid thing going to be done? I've been very demoralized, depressed, and sad. And now I'm very happy. I feel like I'm back in the game. I felt like I've been in like limbo. This happens with movies. I'm not the first person to have post-production take a little while. And it's better for it. However, just on an emotional level, I really need something to happen. Even if it fails, at least it'd be done. At least I'd have closure. I spent 4 years on this thing. So that's been very exciting. What was also kind of cool is tonight, I have a friend that I haven't seen. They hung out. They knew I was making a movie. So I think they came to LA and just sort of like hung around on set and like worked on the side. And it was really cool having like a creative person like around me while I was shooting it. And it was funny talking to them, especially now that I have this good news and I can move on and start fantasizing about like who am I going to send it to? Like what are people going to think about it? Like the next set of stuff where people actually see it, like the big payoff for me emotionally. Now that I have like that energy again and I can see that we're moving forward, and I like even contacted one of the actors and said like, hard November, will 100% be out. Like, not even a question. Yeah, and it was cool to like talk about like the movie with them because I forgot they had a different perspective on it. Like the first thing they brought up is, and I think I mentioned this in the video blog the day of, is that when I shot my improv, the first couple takes, I was like, I kind of froze up a little. They wanted me to like feed them lines, and I'd ask someone to come be the line feeder. I'm like, if we need funny lines, just have a couple ready. And they I tossed it to them. I like froze up, and I'm like, oh, that's what this person's for. I was like, hey, like, do you have any ideas? And like, they didn't either. And I was like, oh fuck, this sucks. Like when you don't have improv and like you're on a, it's just like the worst feeling in the world. And like, but that's like the first thing she brought up. It's like, do you remember when you froze up? I'm like, yeah, the one. And you know what I got to tell them a year and a half later? That scene ended up being the funniest scene in the movie. So. What's up? Like, just, like, very, I love her. It was just funny. Like, that's the first thing she ribbed me about. But then I came back with what to me was my favorite moment on the movie. It's not a good story and it's not a good creative moment, but it was the first moment where I didn't have an AD for the first 15 days of a 16-day shoot. And almost all my problems came down to not having an AD, a very important role. If you know anything about movies, not having an AD is an insane thing to dump on a first-time filmmaker working with like a smaller than average set. Like stretched me a little thin. And every day my producer said he was going to get one, and every day he didn't. And I don't know if he did that because an AD's job is to fight with the producer. I don't know if that was a conscious choice on his, strategic choice on his part. And I'll never know for sure because I'm not going to ask him. I'll just like think it sometimes. I shouldn't say this. Being silly. I love you, man. Yeah, but it was one of those things where I was so fed up. The crew was fed up. They were like, we can't do this anymore. We need someone. to be in charge when I'm not there. And excuse me. And it was like just random. I was bitching about this. There was somebody who was an extra in one scene. And I'm like, I recognize you. And you're like, oh yeah, we talked at a party a couple months ago, and like we talked about music. Like, nice to see you again. How's it going? And I was like complaining. I'm like, yeah, we don't have an AD, and I'm falling apart. And she's like, just make me the AD. And I'm like, yeah, sure. At this point, like better than nothing. And I grabbed a random extra, and I'm like, everyone. This is the AD. They're in charge of all of you. And immediately they were great at it. They just like did. It's not that hard of a job. Like, I mean, I don't want to like diminish it. But they had a natural propensity for it. I think it's a better way to put it. Like just telling people what to do. Like we had like respectfully but urgently. She had a real sense of it. She like want to time frame people. She had a clipboard. She did like get really nervous. Like right away she was that invested in it. One of the most delightful people on set, and someone I will work with on every movie from now on. I absolutely love you, Frankie. You saved me. But there was a moment. I remember it exactly. And this isn't a good story for anyone else. This is just a good story for how it felt for me. But I love this moment for me. And it's gonna be, and you're gonna think the story's dumb. But what a lead-in. Such a storyteller, Violet. You really build it up. So there's a scene in my movie, The Second Date. It's where they fall in love on the street. And we shot all the things on the street, all the dates in the same day. There were like 3 or 4 of them. And it was like our longest day. And excuse me. And the makeup was taking a long time, and I was really nervous because it was a long day. We have this amazing makeup person, Ms. Neon, who is like, like, wait till you see the movie. Like, no, she's in her own league. She has like her own look. Like, she's crazy talented. And she was doing the makeup. It was taking a while, and they finally got to set, and she made this choice. Excuse me. I've had like 3 cans of Waterloo. I don't give a fuck. So she made this choice. She did these like crazy lightning bolts. Almost David Bowie-esque, but not really. Her own thing, maybe in the universe. We've argued about if it was David Bowie-esque or not, so I'm going to be careful on this. I thought it was David Bowie-esque. Other people had strong opinions that it was not David Bowie-esque. But it was like big lightning bolts on the cheek. And they looked really cool, but I didn't like them because it was supposed to be a scene of just 2 people falling in love, not 2 people falling in love who just came from a Kiss concert. It looked really cool. It was just like way too big for what I wanted. My vision was a scene like, and you can do big makeup. Like the makeup otherwise was like crazy and big. You'll see it. It's a huge look. But like lightning bolts on the face was just a little like army of Kiss for me. And like I guess while I was like on set like stressing out about a million things. But the actors and a lot of extras were there that day, and a lot more friends were on set than usual, and they were like sort of hanging out with the makeup people, being supportive. And I guess while they were doing the lightning bolts, every single person was like, these lightning bolts are the coolest thing ever. Like, we love this. This is the crazy, you're like a genius. And they spent an hour like just like hyping unbeknownst to me, impossible for me to have known, that they were all like insanely into the lightning bolts. And they just walked over and lightning bolts. I was like, no. And like they were like the gasp. They were like, what? And like somebody came over to me and was like, yo, like hey, like I don't want to like, you're directing, but like everyone really likes the lightning bolts. Like please give us the lightning bolts. And I was like, no. Like I said no. Like I'm not. Like I'm open to like feedback on stuff. I try to be open to that. I like that about me. I think it's what makes me interesting in the way I'm interesting. I like to think. And so I do take more feedback than most people, but sometimes the time for feedback was not when we're paying by the minute and we're over budget and there's a film crew and like timelines. I'm not like, I don't want to like debate lightning bolts, especially when I have decided that I do not like them, and that is that. And I remember I just got my AD a couple hours before, and I turned to friend and then one more person. There was like almost a revolt. Like my friend Opal, like who never speaks up. She's like, listen, I need to talk to you about the lightning bolts. And I said, hang on, Frankie, could you tell everyone no on the lightning bolts? And then I walked away, and Frankie, I just heard it behind me like, Violet said no on the lightning bolts, let's move forward, everybody. But it was just like, and then I won. And it was the first time I didn't have to do, like, I just felt like I was directing. Having an AD makes it so much easier to just put your foot down. And like, yeah, like most of the time, like, it's a democracy, but every once in a while, like, when you direct your movie, put lightning bolts in it. But like, I fucking said no. This is my favorite memory. I've spent a lot of my life working in union crews. And the thing about union crews is if your boss is mean to you, your steward will. The joke is he's going to wear red socks to work, but he will wear. But like when he's decided that they've been mean to us, he will just like cross his arms, and then everyone drags their feet, and there's nothing you can do because labor is organized, and you should be respectful to them. They will do that to teach clients a lesson. Only in extreme cases. It wasn't like it almost never came up, but there were like one or two jobs where they were like being rude to people, and the steward was like, no, like no, and he like told them not to, and they kept doing it, and like those we just, he crossed his arms, and everyone dragged their foot, and they ended up like, a lot of their big important stuff, like, could have been better, like, I don't know, like, and as someone who's on the other side of it now, the idea of like being mean to someone is like, no, you don't treat people that way, like I think most people in America, the boss tells you to do something, you do it or you lose your job. But I'm actually from a labor background where I actually see how it actually works. Whereas like I tell someone to do it, they don't do it, then like I am screwed. And like they, you know what I mean? Like there's two parties here and you need them. And you should not be disrespectful to them when they don't, when you need it more than them, maybe. You both need it, but you should be nice to people or they won't do as good. So I'm like always a little like, I don't want to say like nervous, but like it's not in my nature to snap at people. But you know what, as a director, I've learned the hard way that some people want you to be mean to them, and they think if you're not being mean to them, that you're not serious. So you have to kind of cosplay meanness for a certain type of person to like that needs to be like a little scared to like get in their job or whatever. It's stupid and it's immature, but it's called management, and I've learned it the hard way. But having an AD, man. It is so much easier to put your foot down without being a dick. Like, it really like adds a layer to it. Like, I get why it's an important role. I wish I'd had it the whole time. Um, so, anyway, that's a stupid story, but I told it. But now that my movie is done, and I can start fantasizing about who I'm going to invite to the friends and family thing, or who I'm like going to send it to when it's done, and all the like fun, exciting stuff I get to do now that it's done, showing it to the people involved. These like little like milestones, like that I cannot wait for. And I'm thinking about what I'm doing next. And this young filmmaker came to me, and they had like a kind of a kinky, kind of sweet script. It's like 3 acts, simple thing. The first scene they like meet a dom and they do kink. The second scene they try to go to their vanilla girlfriend, and then the third scene they're back in kink. And like they realize they need it, and then it ends with them like getting too emotional, and the dom getting freaked out, and it being painful and awkward. Simple story. The cool thing is the filmmaker who's never made a film before is also they have like a noise rock band, and they're gonna like do the Sonic Youth score to it. And I'm gonna be artsy with it, and they do Polaroids, and I'm gonna like make it dreamy and like move through Polaroids, and kind of like bring some music video swag to like a cool little kinky short, that's like kind of abstract. So really excited about this. I was excited about this because it was a one-day shoot and an easy project, and after spending 4 years on a movie, there'd be something very satisfying about just shooting a fun little thing, and also like teaching someone else. Like I'm not in charge, I'm just the producer. It's someone else's vision, it's someone else's script. I bring what I can, I give notes, but I just like mainly like making someone else, making someone else's art, and like making it better, and like that's an exciting thing for someone who's like got a cool energy to them. They're also really good looking, and having a good looking people in kink movies, great idea, like exciting project. And the thing was, I asked like all the people that I really want to work with, like because there's people you meet. I'm in LA on Network, where you're like, you are the most beautiful girl in the world. You have such an energy, you have such a story. Like you're like exactly what I want to be associated with and what I want to build. I want to build like a community of like outsiders. And like you're the kind of outsider I'd like be excited to work with. I've had these names, and I'd ask one, and they're like the pie in the sky ones. You're like, oh, you're like a big TV person, or you're like, oh, you're like an A-list porn star, like someone like huge, or like whoever, and like you ask somebody and they like don't get back to you, and they say maybe, and then like after a couple weeks you ask somebody else, but then what happened is like on the same day, like 3 people I want to work with said yes, and I was like, damn it. One, getting like we got like an A-list porn star to say yes, like somebody like think of the top 5 trans porn stars. She's on your list if you can make that list, you know what I mean, and most of you can, but like a big like someone I like couldn't believe, someone I asked to star in my movie who didn't even message me back, 2.5 years ago. I'd like beg them to be in my movie. Not beg, but like I implored them to be in my movie. And I didn't even get a message back. Or I think they gave me a tweet where they were like kind of snarking. It was like, ah, fair. Like, whatever. But we got them as a possibility. And I'm like, this is someone I wanted to work with forever, like, who was like way out of my league. In fact, the other person, the filmmaker asked them. They just like use their, whatever to like land it. And now I'm like, damn, this is like kind of like a student film. Like I like working with like the person who's like the biggest person I've ever worked with and putting them in like a learning student film we're shooting on phones. Like, no way. If this person just agreed to work with me and like we're booking them, I'm writing like the most kick-ass thing I've ever written. And like I'm just making a movie with a movie star. Like, yes, that is what I'm doing. And that happened with like 3 people. One, the A-list porn star is the one that like I need to be on. But this like amazing pro dom and this like amazing TV person that I've been wanting to work with forever, who's like got a great energy and like is perfect for the part. They all said yes, and technically I should leave it to the director because it's their thing. But I'm like, if you want to work with me, you have to work with these people because like this is way cool. Like this is like I can't believe these people said yes, and I'm not passing up the opportunity, period. I fought too hard for too long. I'm finally in a place where, like, the people I want to work with are, like, answering the phone. Time to write a script and shoot it, Violet. I don't write kink very well. A lot of my friends seem kinky. Hang out with kinky people. Hang out with a lot of, like, trans Twitter, horny, the types of people, like those types. My people. I love my people. Like puppy girls. And they always talk a big game. They're always talking about kink. They always talk about how kinky they are. But like, and they all say they write erotica, or like, what are they, AO6, or like whatever they are. But like, not like, I don't have anyone, because like, I don't think I should write it myself, just because when I write, people think I would have a certain brand. People think my movie is going to be more pulpy and Rob Zombie than it is. And I love that aesthetic and I love pulling energy from that. But like, if you just let me write whatever I want, it's going to be more like hanging out and like joking around with like a subtext of like thematic, philosophical, like I'm going to write basically no exits if you let me write what I want. Like a much funnier no exits. I guess I'd be Waiting for Godot. A much funnier no exits. Sure. A true fact, in this movie I wrote something I called My Waiting for Godot, which was a 25-minute conversation between 2 nameless men talking about what seems like nothing but goes on like to be, metaphors and stuff. And it was the best thing I ever wrote, and it totally cut from the movie. It's a 17-minute scene I cut to 1 minute. And I would have cut the whole thing, except that 1 minute has important exposition. So... leave me to my own. I'll write a 17-page Waiting for Godot that's too hard to direct. That's like really hard for the actors. Like that's what I like to do. But people look at me and I kind of want to do that. I want to be what people think when they see me and meet me. People think I'm much edgier than I am. So I think this next project, I really want to be what people want me to be. I want it to be kinky and edgy and like a porn star and like have like a more aggressive, interesting take on like sex in films and like, queerness and like all the stuff and like empowerment, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that like you think I would be doing. I want to do that. Like, I'm not, like, I always wanted to do that. I just like, and there's some of that in what I did. But I think the fact that my next thing gets to be this, like a lot kinkier or like a lot cooler, a different kind of cool, transgressive. You know what? I've noticed a lot of people they expect me to be transgressive in a way that I'm not. Like, I think if I were to be like honest and arrogant, I think the way people want me to be edgy is a way, like, I think that's not as edgy as how I actually am. I think if people want me to be like an anarchist, like gun tranny, like revolutionary, and I respect some of the people who do that. I respect some of the people who do it a lot, but I think a lot of the people, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on people with that attitude. Like, I have to be careful what I say. Because like I condemn violence. As my friend Felicia G, who loves Luigi Manganiello, often says, she condemns violence, and I also condemn violence. Um, like, but to move on to what I actually am, and like, I think that's cool, and fun, and like, sexy and exciting, and I agree with a lot of it. I think it's edgier to do what I actually do, and like, not to be like all whatever about it, but I feel this way. I think mutual aid, and I think the war is lost. I think the idea that we're gonna like go out in the streets and yell, and like do that kind of thing. I think fight the good fight if that's what you're in it for, but I do not. I think the war has been lost. There's billions of dollars aligned against us. Like there's oh yeah, I don't have to explain the news. I just think that like if you look around, there's a huge force that wants to hurt trans people, and like it, there's no way to fight a multi-billion-dollar organization. Like you have to admit, like there was a time and it wasn't now. There was a way to do it, and it's not what we did. Like it is, what's going to happen is going to happen, and now we can't stop slavery, but we can build an underground railroad. Is that a tacky metaphor? You know how I mean it. I hope what I mean to say overshadows. Like we can't stop the atrocities, but we can start like reacting to the fact. Like we can start like building networks, like doing mutual aid, like finding people housing, running people's GoFundmes. Like I think that stuff is a lot more transgressive and something I'm a lot more proud of than I think what people want me to be. Like edgy in a gun necklace way.